Welcome back. Well, there are songs that for whatever reason remain timeless, and Gordon Lightfoot has provided the world with more than a few of those. The heartbreak of If You Could Read My Mind, the flirtiness of Sundown, and of course the heroism of the Edmund Fitzgerald. His career has spanned 60 years, and at almost 80 he's still touring. But in all that time, he has rarely agreed to be interviewed in depth, which is what makes this conversation with Lloyd Robertson for W5 very special.
Sunday night at the Port Theatre in Nanaimo, British Columbia.
So you're on row Q's.
A sold-out concert, and everyone is waiting, eager to see a Canadian legend.
I heard him on the radio one time, and since then I just love his music.
It's home, pretty much. He's so Canadian.
I just love Gordon Lightfoot, period.
The love fills the hall as the man makes his entrance. It's Gordon Lightfoot, a little older, but giving his all for 2 hours of his iconic hits, spanning more than 50 years.
Pretty people that always at the door when time to call. Pretty people on top, just to send her there heard it all. Pretty people don't mind if you're crying the cheating will true.
I really want it to sound good. I really do. I want it to continue. It's sounding better now than it ever has.
You're 79 years old, you're still out there on the road. What is it that keeps you going?
I have that idea of moving forward all the time.
And you still obviously get a lot from touring all the time, out there on the road.
Well, our output is pretty good right now. We're really pouring it on these days.
And it's a torrid tour schedule, taking Lightfoot to 78 halls across North America in 2017. And if that's not enough,
hear the mighty engine roar.
He still finds time to take in a show in Toronto, honoring more than 50 years of his songwriting.
It's a good old Canadian tune, written by a good old Canadian songwriter.
And when Canada's rocking country trio, the Good Brothers, roll out Lightfoot's Alberta Bound, the crowd gets a rare treat.
Alberta bound, Alberta bound. It's good to be Alberta bound. Alberta bound, Alberta bound. It's good to be Alberta bound.
And for a few years you toured with the Good Brothers.
Yes, I brought them out at the time when we were doing some double shows. There were times that we would do 2 shows a day.
Bruce Good remembers those tours too.
Allowing us to share his stage for so many shows, to me, is generosity beyond belief. I'm proud to count him as a friend, and I know my brothers are too.
That generosity and talent is something Lightfoot learned from his parents as a child growing up here in Orillia, Ontario. What would you say has been the biggest influence your parents had on you?
My mother knew what she saw. She saw me standing up at my grandmother's kitchen table singing for all my aunts.
What about your dad?
He was a plant manager. He was a hard-working guy, and he just, what we got to do, what we'll do.
His family knew of their young son's talent. In his hometown, his singing was celebrated.
There's Irish Lullaby.
A rare copy of Lightfoot's first recording. There it is. Made 70 years ago by his school principal.
That was done at West Ward School.
No longer playable, but a treasured memento. How old were you?
10.
How did he get you into this? Did he call you down to his office or what?
He heard that I sang, and he heard me do a spot in a talent show. And it was on CFOR. And I was doing this stuff when I was 7, 8 years old. So I'm 10 by now. And he called me in at 4 o'clock, and they played this on the upcoming Parents' Day over the school intercom system.
3 years later, Lightfoot won first prize at the Kiwanis Festival in Toronto. His first appearance at Toronto's venerable Massey Hall. Lightfoot went on to perform at Massey Hall more than 160 times in his hugely successful career. In the early 60s, Lightfoot moved to Toronto and landed a job on the TV show Country Hoedown. He recorded Remember Me, I'm the One, his first Canadian hit, making the top 5 in July 1962.
Remember Me, I'm the One. I was talking about an imaginary situation of a person not treated as spouse properly.
In the mid-60s, Lightfoot's big success was his songwriting. A string of singers began recording his work. So many singers have recorded your songs. 50 versions of Early Morning Rain.
Yeah, I never understood the importance of all that until long after it took place.
In the early morning rain, with a dollar in my hand, and an aching in my heart, and my pockets full of sand. I'm a long ways from home.
Ian and Sylvia were Canada's top folk group in the 1960s. Their fourth album was called Early Morning Rain.
We were the first, I think, to record, and there was no argument about doing his songs. I mean, and once we did them, everybody started picking up on them.
So I best be on my way in the early morning rain.
These photographs Gord shared with me.
Nicholas Jennings is one of Canada's leading authorities on Canadian pop music.
I think it's true that Gordon Lightfoot's songs have come to reflect who we are as Canadians. It's not reserved for Canada alone because there are people all over the world who have embraced those songs.
Jennings spent more than 3 years writing the bestseller Lightfoot.
I've never done this before.
Its release celebrated at this party in Toronto.
To Gordon's credit, he never made me feel like a weirdo for asking personal questions, even when I kept repeating them over and over again until I got the answers. He doesn't really care for fame.
Thanks for coming out. Well, it's a pleasure to be here, man.
I mean, he really doesn't like the celebrity aspect of his line of work. He's all about the music and always has been.
Does that have to do with him being a perfectionist?
He's really a craftsman when it comes to songwriting. He works so hard to make these songs as resonant as possible.
Some of the situations described in the songs are really strictly from the imagination, and some of them are real.
So many of your songs are about personal relationships like that. You really seem to be able to dig into that.
I sort of started being able to draw on the emotional. You know, life became like a kind of a roller coaster, and you would get down in the dip, and that's when you would get the inspiration and get the coffee and the cigarettes and get at it.
In the late 60s and 70s, Lightfoot's solo career took off. A string of albums going gold or platinum, and a #1 hit single around the world, Sundown.
Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs.
Writing and recording 13 albums in 12 years, alongside a demanding tour schedule, took a toll on Lightfoot. You made a couple of interesting comments about the road yourself. You said there are a lot of temptations out there, alcohol, women, but it's self-destructive, you said.
I began doing what I felt were irrational things in my personal life. You know, I won't go into it. But I just had to stop, and I did it with the help of my sister and a few friends and a doctor, and I lost a relationship, and a 7-month-old child at the same time left me. Out of the house, I was on my own for 5 years.
You have to treat your talent with respect. Is that how you've come to look at it after all these years?
Well, I realized that by 1982, if I didn't stop drinking, I was going to do myself in.
Did you ever fall off the wagon?
Nope.
No.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. I had a glass of wine in 2005, but from the time that I stopped till the time that I drank that glass of wine, from 1982 to 2005, was 23 years, completely dry. I will now occasionally have a beer or a glass of wine, but very, very rarely, and that's it.
A haunting ballad.
It was the first time we'd ever played the song.
Creates a Canadian classic. When W5 continues.
All right.
Gordon Lightfoot has won every musical honor Canada has to bestow. He's in the Canadian Music Hall of Fame and winner of the Governor-General's Award. A string of hit singles, along with platinum and gold albums. Now, at 79, Lightfoot is still on the road. A sound check before each show for an audience of one. His wife of 3 years, Kim. And before this sold-out hall, Lightfoot confides to the crowd how close he came to dying 15 years ago.
I remember back in 2002, I had a burst artery.
On September 8th, 2002, Lightfoot suffered a critical medical emergency hours before another show. This one in his hometown, Orillia. Lightfoot's drummer, Barry Keane, was there that afternoon, getting ready for the concert.
I got there before sound check and I said to the boys, "Where's Gord?" "Well, he's in his dressing room." So I went to see him. He was lying face down in the dressing room.
Canada's foremost folk singing storyteller, Gordon Lightfoot, is in hospital in Hamilton after having emergency surgery on his stomach.
It was a long evening. I saw them put the paddles on him twice. They lost him up in Orillia, so it was quite an ordeal.
His attack, an aorta aneurysm, a frequent killer.
Most people would have been gone after that.
And usually, 95% of the time, you're dead. I remember what it felt like to be dead, and it was the most peaceful time that I ever felt in my entire life. Because as soon as I came to, I just got right back into the problems again. That's my writing.
One of the problems was getting back to his first love, music.
All this stuff's all valid. Those are the chords.
After all these years, Lightfoot is still eager to talk about one of his biggest hit songs. A song about a tragedy that went to the top of the charts in 1976.
There was a news broadcast on 11 o'clock on CBC that a ship had just sunk up in Lake Superior.
That ship was the Edmund Fitzgerald. 29 men were lost on a stormy night in November 1975. The ship's disappearance caught the imagination of this avid sailor.
How long did it take to write Edmund Fitzgerald then?
About a week.
Drummer Barry Keane was in the recording studio.
And the engineer said, "We have the studio booked. Like, why don't we put it down on tape?"
I stayed up all night rewriting it. There's a lesson from the ship along down of the big lake they call Gitchigumi. The lake it is, it never gives up a day. The skies in November turn gloomy.
I said to Gordon, "When would you like me to come in?" He said, "I'll give you a nod." The boys did their thing. Around the third verse, Gordon gave me a nod. I did a drum fill.
The wind in the wild made a tattletale sound, and the wave broke over the reedy.
That's the record. Not only was it a first take, it was the first time we'd ever played the song.
November comes daylight.
Were you surprised it became such a big hit?
No one had a clue. In a way, you could call it a fluke.
Lightfoot's success was no fluke. From his teens, he worked tirelessly to hone his craft. He played whenever and wherever he could. One of the first promoters to spot Lightfoot's talent was Bernie Fiedler, the owner of the Riverboat Coffee House on Yorkville in Toronto. It was 1966.
When the bar is closed, we get the older clientele in. They know the village, there's something happening. They're coming down here after the hours.
More than 50 years later, Fiedler remembers Lightfoot's shows at his small club.
And I got to tell you something, that guy created an atmosphere. I still think about it and have, chills going down my spine.
He is innately a storyteller. I've seen so many people literally just hanging on his every word in concert.
Nicholas Jennings is an expert on Canadian pop music history and the author of Lightfoot.
Do you think he's Canada's troubadour, would you call him that?
Gordon Lightfoot is absolutely the quintessential Canadian songwriter. Gordon Lightfoot's songs have come to reflect who we are as Canadians and what it means to live in this country.
You've written a lot about Canada, sung a lot about Canada.
I love living in Canada. I just love it. I don't know what it is. I just love living in Canada.
And the love is returned in his hometown, Orillia, Ontario. In 2015, this sculpture honors his lifelong success. And for the boy with the golden voice, there's now a second statue for their hometown icon.
Everything I learned about life and the music business and everything I learned right here.
He sings totally from the heart. I don't believe there's a phony bone in Gordon Lightfoot's body, and nor is there a phony note in Gordon Lightfoot's songs. They are absolutely perfect in a sense of the balance of music and lyrics.
If you carry my mind, just like an old-time movie about a ghost from Chevrolet.
In 1970, If You Could Read My Mind topped the charts in Canada and was his first hit in the United States.
It's like his life is a two-way street kind of situation.
A story about the end of a marriage.
Yes, it is. Basically, the marriage wasn't over yet, but it was just 2 or 3 years off, and I realized that when I wrote that song.
I don't know where we were wrong, but the feeling's gone. I just can't get it back.
Yeah, almost 50 years old.
I saved that one for near the end of the show.
If You Could Read My Mind is still, to me, it's one of the great songs ever written. I've taken to giving Gordon an ovation myself when the song is over, because lucky me, I'm part of greatness.
Lightfoot's friends all know one thing about this man, his absolute generosity and loyalty.
He's incredibly loyal. He's always treated relationships, whether it be with his band members, his family, his friends. He never forgets someone who's done a good turn or a favor. He rewards loyalty.
Bernie Fiedler is just one of the many recipients of Lightfoot's generosity. Back in the early 1970s, his Riverboat Coffee House ran up a big tax bill.
He just said, write the check, because that's what he wanted. He wanted to support me without question. And believe me, $90,000 in the 70s was a hell of a lot of money.
He's not one of those that does things for the publicity. In fact, it's just quite the opposite. He shies away from the publicity. He does it because it's the right thing to do.
You're a generous guy. Where does that come from?
Yeah, I try to be fair and square, you know. I like to make sure that everybody's happy with their deal, whatever it is.
I think Gordon Lightfoot's songs are going to outlive him, and I think they're going to be the kind of songs that just become standards in popular music.
There was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run.
For 15 years, Canadian musicians have gathered in Toronto to sing those classic Lightfoot songs. The hall is sold out for the celebration, and Lightfoot is there.
She put up on the shoulder.
His daughter Meredith is too, singing her father's song, continuing the family's legacy. The concert's final song finds Lightfoot on stage, joining in on the very first song from his first album.
Yes, Lord, to get me home.
Many of the performers not even born when it was released in 1966. His love of performing passing on to a new generation. His 11-year-old granddaughter, Christina, belts out her verse on the night's finale.
I'm gonna get me 2 wings of silver to get me home.
And Lightfoot, one of Canada's national musical treasures, soaks up the love.
I love the country. It instills itself in your soul.
Well, Gordon Lightfoot will be returning to Massey Hall. That's where he first performed as a 13-year-old boy soprano, as the final performer before that great concert hall closes for a 4-year renovation. We'll be right back.